Hello everybody, my name's Richard Watson, and obviously this is Anglais the Easy Way. Today I'd like to talk to you about one of the strangest books I've ever read, and also one of my favorites. It's called The Rorschach Texts, and it's written by a guy called Stephen Hall. So, The Rorschach Texts, not easy to say actually, The Rorschach Texts is a highly unconventional and experimental novel that really does blur the lines between reality and fiction. The story is about a guy called Eric Saunderson who wakes up one day with amnesia. He can't remember anything about his past or even his own identity, but he does find notes written by himself that suggests that his life has been erased by a mysterious entity. It's a conceptual shark called the Ludovician, which feeds on memories and language. Yeah, that's the premise of the book. That's the first couple of pages. So Eric sets out on a quest, kind of a surreal quest, to recover his memories and to understand his past, while also trying to stay one step ahead of the Ludovician, which is constantly chasing him. The story incorporates visual elements, fragmented texts, and unconventional typography on the pages, and it's a bit disorientating and a very strange reading experience. It kind of bends your mind a bit as you go through this journey, talking about memory, identity, and the power of language. So, who are the key characters in this book? Well, Eric, of course, suffering from amnesia, trying to reconstruct his past while being pursued or chased by a conceptual shark. Don't ask me what that is. You'll have to read the book to discover for yourself. Another person is called Scout, a mysterious woman that he meets who may hold clues to his past and the nature of this conceptual shark, which is constantly trying to catch him. There's Mycroft, a strange, seemingly unreliable guide who helps Eric understand the bizarre rules of the world he's found himself in. You have the conceptual shark, of course, that feeds, which means it eats memories and language, and it represents a kind of a force of forgetting and erasure, of erasing things. The setting, it's strange. It's kind of a liminal space that exists between the real world and the world of concepts. You have strange locations like unspaces and bizarre architecture that shifts and changes, mirroring the instability of his memories. The book's overall setting is as much a mental and conceptual space as a physical one. Now you have an idea what you're getting into if you try and read this book, but it's a great book. I really, really like it. Very easy to read in terms of a story, but very hard to understand in terms of concepts. A lot of the quotes are actually quite easy. I can give you some quotes. Some of them are actually written in strange ways in the book, but you can't hear that, of course. But some of them are quite simple. The past is always there. It doesn't go away, and it never gets lost. A book is a dangerous thing. It has the ability to change everything. Now, we could kind of agree with those, but not the way it's used in this book. Memory is fragile. It can be easily erased or replaced. We are defined by the stories that we tell ourselves. Now, people who've listened to other podcasts that I've done, you'll know I always talk about this. We tell ourselves stories all the time about who we are as a speaker, who we are when we're playing chess, who we are as a learner. I honestly believe in that, yep. Language has the power to create reality as well as to destroy it. Again, linguists have often argued about the role that language plays for us to understand the world and how in some ways it creates that world around us. They argue that if you don't have a word for something, it's very difficult to manipulate the concept. And another language which does have a word manipulates that concept much more naturally and much more regularly. Here's another quote. Sometimes it's more important to be open to the unknown than to understand. Or imagination has more power than reality. Anyway, that will give you something to think about. This is for, you don't have to be an experienced cybernaut or voyager into strange transcendental voyages to read this, but it helps to like books and like language. It's not a normal adventure story. There are no real sharks in this book. Anyway, have a look, see what you think if you're up for the challenge, and I'll catch you next time. Of course, don't forget to subscribe.